Hello, everyone. I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. I want to welcome you to the 2022 State of the Community. We're happy to be back at Children's Health Stadium this year. We also welcome those of you that are joining us online. This is an annual event started in 2020 as a partnership between the Prosper ISD and the Town of Prosper and the Prosper Chamber. We have a lot of great information to share. And in a few minutes, I'm going to introduce Mr. Mayor Ray Smith and Dr. Holly Ferguson. Please consider donating to the Prosper Education Foundation to support their scholarships. I also want to take a moment to recognize the event sponsors: Texas Health Neighborhood Care and Wellness, Linebarger Attorneys at Law, thank y'all, and Community Waste Disposal. We'll be answering the questions that were submitted online at the end of our presentation. If we're unable to get your answer in the time allotted, we'll have a member of the town or the PISD staff email you back. Now I'd like to introduce Mayor Ray Smith. Come up, let me talk about you. Come on up. Mayor Smith has lived in Prosper since 2005. In 2006, Ray served on the Home Rule Charter Committee, which wrote the charter that dictates how our town is governed. He was elected to the Prosper Town Council in 2007. I believe we were 5,000 people when you got elected. And he was appointed to serve as the president of the Economic Development Corporation. In 2016, he was elected to serve on the North Central Texas Council of Governments. He was elected president of the executive board in 2020. He's also an alternate member of the Regional Transportation Council. He's past chair of the Collin College Foundation Board of Directors and a member of the Meals on Wheels of Collin County Board of Advisors. Mayor Smith graduated from Baylor?
Sickle Bear.
And is a marketing president with Farmers Bank and Trust. Ray has been married to his beautiful wife Lena, for 31 years. Together they have raised 3 sons and are currently raising 2 grandsons. So Ray got on council. Prosper was 5,000 people, and today we're 33, over 33,000 people. A little growth since Ray's been here. I'd like to introduce you to my friend, Ray Smith.
Thank you, Ken. Robin showed me how to do this earlier. We got a few special guests here. Did the first one, Renata Ambrozinek, did she make it? Did I say that right? I've been practicing all day on your name. So she was Congressman Van Taylor's office. Thank you for attending. In a minute, we're going to see some of the funds he brought to Prosper this past year. Next, I'd like to introduce and thank Robin Battle. She's got a long title, Executive Director of Community Services, and Harlan Jefferson, our town manager. Because of them, I didn't have to do a whole lot on this book they put together for me. So if I don't mess up on any of the words, thank you all for doing that. We've got, did Rebecca make it? Rebecca Zook? No. Stuart Blasingame. Stuart, our fire chief, is here, right back there. Doug Kowalski, did he make it? Our police chief. We're safe now, both of them. And then, did Betty make it? Our finance director? No. Leslie, director of library services. Maybe she's online. And Dan Baker, our new Parks and Rec. Thank you. You got big shoes to fill. And then, let's see. Here are some of my teammates. I'm not sure who made it in, but you got Megs Miller going from left to right. He's our Mayor Pro Tem. Megs, you make it? Okay. It's a sellout. Jeff Hodges, he called me. I know he's online. Thank you, Jeff. Marcus Ray is here. Let's see, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Craig Andrus is right here. Charles Cotton, he's been in. And did Amy Bartley? Oh, there she is. Amy and Wayne, thank you all for being here. Get started, we've got some, the Prosper strategic goals. What we've done is put most of this information, probably all of it, according to Robin, online, that you can go in and check our work. So I'm going to refer to a lot of things that we've done. I'm not going to read everything to you, but this little, the prosper.gov strategic plan, you can get on and you can get updates monthly and see how we're doing, and send out emails to the council members if you got any criticism. If you like what we're doing, please send those to me. But right now we're of course focused on downtown redevelopment in the Tollway District. We try to update our comp plan about every 5 to 10 years. And this past year we've decided to update those two particular projects. The North Dallas Tollway, it's 3 miles, and we just want to tweak it a little bit and make sure we're getting the type of services that our residents want and what we want, high-end commercial development. And also on the downtown, we've put our funds together with the Economic Development Corporation, and the town of Prosper has hired a consultant. We've got, I guess, our second or third update last week, and they're in the midst of that, and hopefully they'll proceed and bring us some great ideas for our downtown area. I know a lot of property owners down there are excited about seeing something take off. We thought putting a $20 million building would help, but I guess they want to see a little bit more. Oh, it lined up with my picture. This is, again, the strategic planning dashboard. It tracks the progress of our strategic plan. There are 115 action items. So if you've got trouble sleeping, you can get on and look and start reading, get all the updates and know everything you want to know about Prosper, Texas. Next, COVID-19. Anybody heard of that? It's kind of lingering around. It kind of goes away and comes back. We're doing all we can to keep up and monitoring it. Actually, all of this was green before the holidays, I believe. And then everybody had a New Year's Eve party, started kissing on each other, and now we're all red. We're having trouble here, going the wrong direction. But, you know, just percentage-wise, the trauma service area is up, the hospitalization's up 27%. And we were at 4.7. So I don't know what caused that, but it's a real deal, and hopefully we can suppress it again. Here's some more statistics. Now this will all be online, so if I fly through this and you don't get to take a picture of one of the screens, you'll have an opportunity if you just go to our website and connect. Isn't that right, Robin? Budget. Now, couldn't we have gotten a big tree with $100 bills? Wow. Those look like pennies. We first accelerated the implementation of the $210 million bond program. We were scheduled to sell 21 million. We had a great year in tax and collection and values, so we increased it to 40 million. Most of us talk to our neighbors and folks around town about what they'd rather see, a few cents in their pocket or additional concrete roads being built. So we decided to spend a lot of funds towards our road projects, also our parks and rec, as well as the fire. Since Stuart's back there, I've got to mention him. This is, this is about the $210 million bond package. Thanks for all of you for voting for that. We had $30 million in public safety, $30 million in parks and rec, and $150 million in streets. And everybody would agree that we do need more roads and better roads, and I'm sure the school district wants them all in front of their schools. And we're trying. Our bond rating, I missed that. Our bond rating is a Moody's AA1, which is high. S&P, Standard & Poor's AA+. So those are the second highest for each rating. What that means is we get a better interest rate when we go out and sell our bonds. We accelerated. There's some of the roads we're building and where we've decided to put some of the money. We still got to get land acquisition and do some design work on these, but these are ones that you're probably wondering why we hadn't got to them so far. We're working. We're on the way. Grants and outside funding. These top two were federal, so thank Van Taylor and his office. Tell him he did a tremendous job. And then also the $3 million EDA Public Works Infrastructure Grant. Mary Ann, with her experience, our EDC director, she brought that forward and said we have an opportunity, and so we applied, and sure enough, we're able to get that, secure that for the lower pressure plane out west of town. Here's some development updates. Now, you can see the red is this past year. I showed you the green, the blue last year. Couple of updates. The Windsong Ranch development. Anybody live in Windsong? Okay. They have value of occupied homes in their community is over $1 billion. That's big. And then Star Trail, which is up on the tollway. Anybody live in Star Trail? They're approximately $356 million in value of occupied homes. And each one of these communities are strong partnerships with us, but they're just building lots as fast as they can, and the home builders are building homes as fast as they can. So that kind of shows you the values of those two particular subdivisions. The gates, 1 and 2, down at Preston and 380, for those of you who don't know. We've gotten, the west side has opened some stores on the northwest corner. You've got the Hobby Lobby, Home Goods, Michael's, Kohl's are all now open, along with the additional ones. These are the bigger names. And then you've got Callaway's Nursery has pulled a permit, so they'll be building in there. And as far as value for the gates 1 and 2, there's over $210 million worth of value. So these are two of our strongest tax bases in the community. Okay, I mentioned those. The design guidelines, we plan to, on January 25th, council scheduled to vote on this. I think we're heading in the right direction. We've been talking about this for, what, 8 months maybe or so? And we're just trying to make sure we get what we want there along the tollway. We think that's a great opportunity for us. The Preston Road corridor is a great opportunity along with 380 and some of the additional ones. I tell you this at every speaking event, that you can go and find out more about Prosper than your neighbor or anybody else around going to this site. And every month they come out with these reports. And we're not talking about one-pagers. This is a detailed report. If you want to know anything about the community, please go to that site. Transportation infrastructure, shovels and hard hats. We're either building infrastructure or more economic development is on the way, which is taxable dollars. And I believe this was on Frontier Parkway when they started that. Well, that needed a very needed road. I know the school district and the stadium built there. I can't wait. Well, I guess I won't in May, but before that, I used to get some very colorful emails about not having that road completed for the stadium, trying to get in and out of traffic. You know, we can only do so much. These are completed projects. I'm not going to read them to you. You guys can see we're moving. We're doing a lot of updates and upgrades and building more and more roads and intersections and putting in lights and signals. I don't think there's any more four-way stops in our community. There used to be quite a few, but the lights have taken over. Progress, they say. The bypass, you all have heard about that. It's kind of in that doing the analysis study, environmental study from the state. They're studying, I think, the yellow line there, but however, no, there's one back and just stays in McKinney. These are alternative lines that they've talked about, but I don't know that they've done a lot of study with these lines. They were more focused on the one that's east of here that stays in McKinney. However, you never know with the state, so we're staying on top of it. And when we need to get everybody out and write letters and attend meetings, you'll be notified. Here's the CIP dashboard. Again, this will give you updates on all the projects we have going on. I guess we update these monthly as well, Rob? Yeah, monthly. Public safety, one of our council's favorite. This is a core value, safety in our community. We spend a lot of money on having quality fire and police department, and they got two great leaders, and they're continuing to grow their departments and to grow their stations. I believe, Stuart, we're already designing Station 4, aren't we? Yeah. So, and that comes with growth. I mean, to keep up with the residents and keeping them safe, you got to strategically have the different fire stations. And then Chief Kowalski has a big, well, let's just say he's got a very nice place with his police officers. And the Texas, speaking of Chief Kowalski, Look at the grip he has on that frame. You're not gonna get that out of his hand. They won this award, Texas Police Chiefs Association recognition in 2017 and also last year in 2021. So I think he jerked it out of the guy that gave it to him in the blue coat there, but I congratulate them. They're a top-notch team, and we appreciate all that they do. Here's the LifePath Systems loss team. This is in 2021. The PD joined the LifePath Systems loss team to provide support to community members impacted by suicide. So there's 4 of the members there, and hopefully we don't have that issue, but we are going to be prepared. This is the police station, a picture of it, that was award-winning police station and opened in October of 2020, but we spent a lot of money on it, so we're going to show you that every year. How about that? And hopefully, if you haven't visited, you can visit as a visitor and not as somebody been arrested. So it's a nice facility. Our Prospero Fire and Rescue. There's some of the, well, Stuart's not there. They're a great team. They won they were awarded the ISO 1 in 2019. So we're going to keep bragging about that every year. And they are currently, the council approved the new station that'll be built next to the police station on Safety Way. It's going to be really, really nice. And then we're designing Station 4 for a future station, but this will end up being central, where Stuart ended up housing most of his guys there and himself. And then we got to have the others for drive time, response time scattered around town. So the next one may be east of here. And that design will be forthcoming. Here is the Fire and Rescue. They're award-winning department. These awards demonstrate that our firefighters, paramedics, and extremely well-trained so they can provide the best possible care. Last year, Stuart stood in front of council because he had won, or the firefighters had won the Silver Award. And he made a commitment the next year he's going to bring home the gold, and he did. Congratulations, Stuart. He was right. Here's a picture of the station. Don't drive out there, it's just dirt right now. But that's the way it's going to look, and it's going to be something they'll be proud of. Parks and Rec. Again, Dan, thanks for coming on board. This is Hayes Park. If you hadn't been out there, take a look. Here's another downtown monument. I believe Jason Dixon had a little bit of that design work. Next one is Prairie Park improvements. These are out there currently. Here's the Whitley Place Trail Extension. That's a beautiful area of town. Now, I just wrote down, these are 2 of our firefighters in training. I don't know, Stuart, they don't look old enough yet, but they're awful cute. In God we trust. This is something that is a big deal to me. Some of our council members, we decided to put this on the back of a lot of our utility cars and our police and fire. What was that, about 10 years ago? So, and you know, we just want to be a community that people know we trust God. We pray before every meeting. We say the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. We say the Pledge of Allegiance to the Texas flag. And that's a big deal for us and the leadership of Prosper. So as long as these folks are in office, I believe that's going to continue. And that's why I make a big deal out of In God We Trust. And by the way, a tidbit, 1956, President Eisenhower put into law that the In God We Trust was put on all the coins and all the paper money in the United States. I know you've seen it, but you may not know where it came from. Next are the honor walls. To your right is we honor the veterans in the different service. And then to the left is the first responders, police and fire. These aren't built yet, but they're in budget, and we think they're going to be beautiful, and we just want to honor that group of residents and citizens and employees in our community. We think it is a great fit for our downtown town hall. Next is a Prosper Veterans Memorial. It's had a slow start, but the Rotary Club has agreed to take that project on, and they made some modifications, and this is the new design, and I think it's going to look great. It'll end up being in Frontier Park. And I just encourage you, after you get it to the Prosper Education Foundation, then write a check to the Veterans Memorial. Broadband service improvements. Council subcommittee formed in 2018, recommended improvement hotspots, town hall, perimeter, Wi-Fi, help desk, concierge, HOA broadband committee was formed recently. We're focusing on fiber to the homes in the legacy neighborhoods. Now that's Lee, our IT guy. He claims he's setting up a Wi-Fi or something. I don't know if he's getting Christmas lights or he just wanted a free ride from Stewart on the little bucket. Special events, we're back in person. And thank you all. I'm surprised that as many of you came out, being COVID and cold. Maybe they told you we're giving away something. I don't know, but thanks for coming. But the Prosper Christmas Festival, which is a great tradition. We always do a countdown with all the kids, 12 and under, and council members. They qualify. And then we had to celebrate Prosper in the park. Councilman Marcus and Councilman Meggs and then Town Manager Harlan are there. I was going to call them Three Stooges, but no. I'll be nice. Here's a new library book trailer. We're going to take it to the neighborhoods. You can hook up this trailer, and then they're going to take it to the neighborhoods. You can check out books right from the trailer. Then after you read the book or look at all the pictures like I do, you take it back to the library and check it back in. So I thought this was a great idea that Leslie and her team came up with. Community Engagement Committee. Every year we have applications for boards and commissions. A lot of times there's only 3 or 4 that are available for a new resident to apply for. We get 75 plus applications. We interview most of them. And the hardest thing, I think the council members will tell you as well, the hardest thing to do is tell somebody that has a big heart, wants to serve, you don't have a place for them. So I think Amy, I'm giving her credit for this. She thought, why don't we do a community engagement committee, and we've got all this talent, let's put them to work. Great idea. So that's what we did, and I think they've had some meetings, and Marcus has been involved, and I think Jeff and Amy, and they've done a lot with HOAs and trying to, again, communicate what's going on in the town, and then they find out what maybe some grumblings are before they get too big, and they come back and talk to us. We give them a project to help out, for example, the Christmas festival and a few other things. And this has been, I believe, a successful committee. Mayor's Fitness Challenge. Okay, all of you that made New Year's resolutions, are you still on them? Have you stopped yet? No? This is a good time to get back and commit to getting fit. This year, instead of logging miles that you bike or ride or walk or push a stroller or whatever, we're going to log in minutes that you actually exercised. So any type of exercise, any form of exercise, swimming, anything, you log in, you can download on this site the minutes of each week. They got it week by week. And you'll get a free t-shirt if you put your size in there, if you commit and you get through the challenge. And also at the end, they'll put everybody's name that completed and get a Fitbit drawing. So a little extra incentive, but getting back in shape is should be the most and best incentive. I really enjoy this because my health issues, I don't think I'd be here if I wasn't in shape when those happened to me. So I always encourage residents to keep up the good work and take your meds the doctor prescribes to you. This is another new Prospero Works. Harlan, I don't know who had the idea, but I'm going to give him credit for it since he's got his big picture in there. But he goes around and interviews different departments. And I've watched these, and these are good. I think they're informative. And a lot of residents don't realize some things that probably go on in the community. And Harlan's been able to go to different departments and have some good interviews and some good feedback. So I encourage you to watch these. Stay connected. Now, there's more ways to stay connected on this screen than I've ever been able to imagine, but I don't want to hear you didn't know or nobody told me. You got it right here. If you can't figure it out, your grandkids can. Mine tell me what I'm supposed to do. Now, since I have a sense of humor, I had to put this in. I was driving Texarkana one day last year, and I saw this. It's a septic tank that empties septic tanks. And if you can see the writing, it says, "This truck is full of political promises." So those of you that know what a septic tank is, you Democrats in the room can go tell your Republican friends, the Republicans in the room go tell your Democrat friends. I just thought this, I laughed for a few minutes and thought, I got to put that somewhere in my presentation. That's good. And that's it. I think Kenneth's going to have myself and Dr. Ferguson come up and answer some questions later, so stand by.
Thanks, Ray.
Thank you all.
Dr. Ferguson began her career with Prospero ISD in 1998 as an elementary school teacher. She has since served as a campus principal, executive director of curriculum and instruction, associate superintendent, and for the past 2 years, superintendent of schools. After receiving a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary studies and a master's in educational administration from the University of North Texas, Dr. Ferguson completed her doctorate in educational leadership at Texas A&M Commerce. She also worked for the Frisco ISD as a teacher, ESL cluster teacher, reading interventionist, and assistant principal. Dr. Ferguson and her husband, Frisco Fire Department Captain David Ferguson, are the parents of 2 children. Cade, a 2020 Prosper High graduate, and Ty, who is a sophomore at Prosper High. Before I bring her up, I've known Dr. Ferguson since my daughter was in kindergarten back when she was a principal at Rucker. Dr. Ferguson, I still call her Holly, so forgive me. She opened car doors. She knew every parent's name, every brother and sister's name, every pet's name, and where they were from. At the end of one year, I had my son and Callie, daughter, were both there. She was giving out awards to all the kids. She stood there and named every child that was in Rucker, started from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade without missing a child's name. She mispronounced one child's name and she goes, whoops, I mispronounced that name. She knew everyone. And she's just an amazing person. I want to introduce you to my friend, Dr. Holly Ferguson.
Good evening. What a great night for us to be able to be together. I want to say hello to everyone that's out there in TV land and thank you for being a part of this evening. I want to thank Mayor Ray Smith for this partnership. One of the greatest things about being the superintendent is being able to work with the different municipalities. And so between Chief Blassingame, Chief Kowalski, Mayor Smith, Mr. Jefferson, it is a great honor to be able to work side by side with each of you great leaders in Prosper ISD. So one of my favorite topics to discuss and talk about all day long, if I could, is Prosper ISD, because it is truly a shining star and a beacon in Prosper ISD, and specifically Prosper, Texas. So let's get started with a few things this evening. I'm not going to do that slide. I'm going the wrong way. Just want to make sure y'all saw what Mayor Smith did. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is our vision. What is the vision in Prosper ISD? And it's grounded by tradition and soaring to new beginnings. And this is something that was developed through our school board, through our strategic planning process. And when I think about what that truly means to us in Prosper ISD, I think about where we were. I think about when I was a teacher in 1998 at Prosper Elementary and what it meant at that time, but I also think about what does that mean in 2022. And then I think about all of the great accomplishments we have had in Prosper ISD, and I think about that soaring to new beginnings. And the great thing is we're not done. There's so much more work ahead of us and so many exciting things for our students. Our mission, of course, is centered at our students and our staff and our parents and our community, and we want to make sure that we're putting the greatest product that we can out there with our students. And tonight, I want to recognize a couple of our students who are here with us. Linebarger attorneys reached out to me and said, do you have any students who might be willing to come this evening that are interested in leadership opportunities, political opportunities? And I said, actually, I do. I have a great superintendent student advisory council. And so tonight we have Zach Spur with us. Zach, you want to wave at everybody? Austin Stiglitz. Ashley Wells. And then we have Emma Moorhead, who's online with us tonight. So thank you all so much for being here. So our school board is comprised of 7 elected officials who are unpaid elected officials. They are fabulous people who truly have a servant's heart and just truly believe in all the possibilities that our kids and our staff, our parents, everything that they've dreamed of. It's not an easy job, and certainly over the last couple of years it's not been an easy job because of all the political dynamics that have come into school boards and then just across our nation. Mr. Jim Bridges serves as our school board president, Mr. Bill Beavers, who is our vice president, Deborah Smith, who is our secretary, Jana Thompson, who serves as a board member, Gina Dixon, who is a board member and with us this evening, Kelly Cavender, who is a board member and with us this evening, and Mr. Drew Wilborn, who is with us this evening. Thank you all so much for your leadership and your willingness and your heart for our kids and our school district. So we're going to get into a lot of growth things, and the great thing about growth, everybody in Prosper, anytime I talk to parents, they want the gate to close the minute that they get here. They don't want anyone else to come in, and I understand that. There are those moments that I have too, that I want to go back to 1998 or 2007, but the reality is the way that we have to start thinking about growth in our school district is opportunities. And I think about all of the different families, all of the different students that we've had that have moved to this great community, the school district, which is typically the number one reason why they come to Prosper, Texas, is because of Prosper ISD. We're the number one employer at this time because of our employees, having over 2,600 employees who serve our community. This is our executive cabinet. These are the leaders that are truly helping play out that vision and that mission of Prosper ISD, and I'm very honored to work with each of these individuals. They're creative, innovative, and they're way smarter than me, which is only a benefit to our kids in the way that they handle themselves as professionals, but also the heart that they have for each of our students in the district. We're going to get into some of our facilities, and as Mayor Smith mentioned, the roads, we need them. Yes, he is correct. So the faster you can get them, the better off we're going to be. But I know that it takes time. So I certainly understand where he's coming from, and Mr. Jefferson, where they're coming from, because things don't happen overnight. And in this fast-paced world and this fast growth that we're in, we do want these things overnight, and we know that we need them. And patience is something, sometimes it's challenging for each and every one of us. We opened Bryan Elementary on the west side of the district, located in the Windsong subdivision. And that was a beautiful honoring of something that I think was so needed. Mrs. Jerry Bryant served as a school nurse actually at Collin Memorial in McKinney, Texas, but also volunteered within our school district. And I could not think of anyone better to be honored than one of our health professionals at such a time as this. And then we opened Reeves Elementary, which is named for Mike and Janie Reeves, and that sits on the east side of the district. One thing that you will see about the ebb and flow and the way that we grow and we put facilities on the ground, you'll see this east to west movement that just continues to happen as we build our buildings. And it's interesting because as you look down kind of the center corridor of the district, that's the area where it's getting really solidified, and we call that kind of the terminal zone where the homes that are established, those subdivisions are established, and so that keeps our schools kind of grounded, and there's not as much change in those facilities. But we do have a lot of change in these growing dynamics in neighborhoods, such as Reeves and Bryant. We will be opening up Joyce Hall Elementary, and that will open in August of 2022. It's located in Star Trail, and I know Mayor Smith was talking about Star Trail, that subdivision, and it is fast-paced growth in that area. So we have a school that will be going in. It will relieve predominantly Stuber Elementary, so if we have any families from Stuber Elementary, there will be relief coming because that building is at capacity and beyond. In 2024, we will get to open our third high school. Now, we need this high school tomorrow, if I'm being honest with you, but it takes time to build a 600,000 square foot building. And so we have already started on that. We broke ground this past summer, and it's Walnut Grove High School, and it's home of the Wildcats, and we can't wait for the Grove to open. So here's the map of our school district and all of the schools that we have currently on the ground, but you'll also see that we have future, which are the blue dots on there. Our school district is made up of 57.75 square miles. So we obviously work with a lot of different municipalities, not just Prosper, Texas. And at build out, we'll be around 50,000 students total, and we'll have about 20 to 25 elementaries, 11 to 13 middle schools, and then we're looking at 5 to 6 high schools. So let's jump into where are those going and what's under construction and coming our way. So as I said, Joyce Hall Elementary will be opening this August, over in Star Trail, Walnut Grove, opening in 2024, and that's located off of First Street, and I do need a street, Mayor. I do need that street desperately. I've got high school drivers, and they're going to need a street to get in and out of that building. So we're breaking ground this summer on an early childhood center. Some people are like, so early childhood. So those are students that are 4 years old. They come with varying needs to qualify for the program, but we also have our employees, children, they also come to pre-K, and that's a great retention model for us in Prospero ISD to get our staff back in, because a lot of times our moms will stay home with babies, but as soon as they can get their kids in school, they'll come back and work, and those are some of our greatest educators that we have, so we want them back in play. Currently, right now, just to give you a little bit of perspective on our early childhood dynamic in Prospero ISD, we have 13 pre-K classrooms located at Reeves Elementary. Okay, so that's pretty much half of the building is made up of 4-year-olds. I say a prayer a lot for the principal, the assistant principal, and the teachers in that building. They are some of the cutest kids on the planet, but they can be tough. They have a mind, and it's their way or the highway. We also have 2 pre-K classrooms that are sitting at Hughes Elementary, 2 that are sitting at Winsong Elementary, and 1, which is our one-way dual language program at Rucker Elementary. So currently 17 early childhood classrooms sitting within our buildings, and so that's why we need the Early Childhood Center to go ahead and get that building built so that we can serve the needs, specifically the developmental needs of the students that are 4 years old, because that doesn't always fit perfectly within that kindergarten through 5th grade model when we're running the typical elementary school. Elementary number 16 will go in the Liliana subdivision, and then we're going to move out over to the west side of town, actually the northwest side of town, and elementary 17 will go in Sutton Fields subdivision. Elementary school number 18 will go on the south side of the district. So we're going to go down south over into the Frisco area to build a building to help accommodate the growth that's happening on that side, especially when PGA came in. That really created a boom and a kind of a push, more so than we ever thought would happen. So we're going to have to get back down there and make sure we're getting buildings on the ground to serve those students. High school number 4, I get this question a lot. Where's high school 4? It will be on the west side. Okay, so east to west, here we go again, right? It's the back and forth. And then middle school number 5 will be Daniel L. Jones Middle School. It's going to be on the south side of the district on 380, and it will be on the property that's just across from Rock Hill High School. So it'll actually be kind of a shared site, which will be a great benefit to you all, because when we think about tennis, track, all of the different sports, there's a lot of things that we can do with utilizing both facilities and not just having the middle school only. So we're having tournaments and those types of things. The other thing that is going to be a little bit different with Daniel L. Jones Middle School, we're actually going to build that out as a full second story. If you look at our prototype for Rushing or Rogers or Hayes Middle School, it's a story and a half. And so we'll be able to help with some of the growth by building a second story, a full second story at Daniel L. Jones, and that will open in 2024. Enrollment. So it's funny, every time I talk about enrollment, whether it's a school board meeting or it's an event like tonight, that number's not true anymore, because every single day we are enrolling students in Prospero ISD. We brought on 231 new students just when we returned on the first day back from the holiday break. We currently now, if I look back a year ago at this time to the current moment now, we've added 2,600, actually over 2,600 students in Prospero ISD, and that's an all-time high and an all-time record for us. What we've seen trending in the past is more in the 2,500 range, and so 2,600 students. So you can see the demand and the push that we have on the facilities that we need to help our students be able to get the quality education that is truly our mission of what we're wanting in Prosper. Our growth, it's kind of interesting. You look at the year 2000, we had 890 students in the district. That now sits at an elementary to have 890 students. And so it's kind of wild to think that in this year 2021, 2022, we're actually at over 22,000 students in the district. This is a hot spot. We all know it, and it is a fabulous community. It's a great community to come to. It's a great place to raise your kids and educate them. I know my husband and I have been the beneficiaries of that. So here's a little bit of a snapshot. I want to make sure that you all, as we've been working with a demographer, and we have multiple demographers that we work with to really track this growth to see where is the greatest need, what are we going to need moving forward as far as facilities, but really where are our hot spots. And that's how we actually, when we're looking at the school district, to know, are we going east or are we going west? Do we need to build to the north or to the south? Because they help us track where that is. We're at about a 14.7 growth rate, and so that's pretty demanding. And as you can see, the numbers are pushing that. 5 years from now, 33,471, and I'm going to call it today. They're wrong. Because we will probably have more than that. They're usually a little bit under, and especially with the growth that we've had just because of the impact of COVID and us being an open state, but also the high quality that we have of education in Prospero ISD, we've literally had people moving from across the world to come to Prospero ISD. They do their research and they find this golden piece of fabulous school and community, and they say, I'm landing there. And that's what's happening within our growth. In 10 years' time, we will have 42,568 kids. And I told you at build out we'd be around 50,000, so that's going to be almost towards that end of our growth and fast pace that we're hitting. 40 active building subdivisions right now, and y'all know you're in this community. You drive down a street and it's a field where a farmer was plowing yesterday. And then today you see that a frame is going up or a foundation is being poured, and those students, they're in those homes and they're coming to us, and we're excited about that because of the opportunities it provides. But you can see too, our top 5 fastest growing subdivisions, Sutton Fields again on the northwest side of the district, Light Farms, right behind us, actually. Star Trail, Villages at Legacy, and then Mustang Lakes, which is over on the west side, or east side, excuse me, on the northeast side, and actually sits in Salina, Texas. So let's talk about learning. This is one of my favorite things because this is really where the magic happens, and this is why the parents want their children in our district and why our students excel and do so well academically. So I'm very, very proud of the work that our leaders and our staff, our teachers, the hard work that they have done. Our national merit, last year we had 22. This year, 109. That's astronomical what has happened. Now, that's a lot of strategic design. It's a lot of strategic planning in the back end with highly skilled educators who know exactly what needs to be done to get our students to the highest level. Now, we can always do more, and we're certainly going to strive to do more than 109 because we want to see as many kids as we can possibly get, because national merit actually means money, college money for our kids, and that's a cost savings for parents, and we want to be able to give that to you, but also for our students, most importantly, to get those high accolades and awards that they truly deserve for their high academic capability. So something that we talked about last year at this time at the State of the Community is how we were going to create a more robust dual credit program. We have a partnership with Collin College, which probably many of you know that they just built a new facility in Salina. We were sitting at 30 hours of dual credit, and that actually gives you college credit hours for your students when they get into that program. And again, that becomes a cost savings for you as a parent. I know my oldest one that is in college, he went in and he was already a sophomore because of dual credit. And so that is a huge savings for you. Plus, you have to look at the kind of the end over end, what you're going to get. If a student's already knocked out a year or two of college coming straight out of high school, there's a better chance that they're probably going to go after that next higher degree, that master's degree, which, as we're seeing what's happening within our society, that high demand of that next degree sometimes is needed there to get that next job. And so it helps you too with that expense that you might endure as a parent. So we certainly have moved that up to 58 hours. We've done a lot of balancing and kind of looking at the science and the math in comparison to our English and then also our history, so that we've got a nice robust robust program for our students. Some of our dual credit is actually offered by our own teachers within the facilities of either Rock Hill High School or Prospero High School, which is great because your kids can just walk down a hallway and go take that class. But we will be utilizing that Collin College site for our students so that they can get the access to the labs and really that true college experience. We have our advanced placement courses. We have 30 of those. That's also money potentially for you, because if a student scores a 3, 4, or 5 on an AP exam, they can qualify for college credit and not have to take that course at college. Now, some of you may be saying, well, but sometimes that doesn't work, Dr. Ferguson, that you get that return. And that's right. But at the end of the day, your student does have to take an English class, a history class, a math class, a science class in order to meet high school graduation requirements. So why wouldn't we just go on and add in a little bit more? The rigor of these programs, too, help our students learn how to study and truly be a student, because what we don't want to see is that our students are returning when they go to college because they weren't fully prepared to be able to be organized and study and take on the demands of the college work. And so these courses also offer that opportunity under the watchful eye of skilled educators and amazing parents who can help that student be supported through that. Cell phones, woo, we love these. They're super helpful in the school district. No. They cause a lot of issues, right? But they also, as we know, no matter if you're an adult or a child, they can make things a lot easier, but they can also make things a lot more difficult. With our push, with our Chromebooks that we have within our district, because we're truly at a one-to-one matching, we no longer need the cell phones in the school. And so we want those pushed out because it's more of a distraction than it is an academic advancement. I know that there's mixed feelings about technology in schools, but I want to tell you what technology does for a student. It's not what a teacher can do for a student. Never could it replace the skill level of that teacher. What technology is a true accelerator of learning. It makes them learn in different ways, learn how to turn things in digitally, how to share documents and collaborate on documents. So there's a lot of skills that they get out of that versus it's just a tool in front of them. And truly, we have to still have that teacher being able to provide that education and direct instruction. Fine arts, we have 82% of our students participating in fine arts. You can see our recognitions of being the best communities for music education, district of distinction, and then our Reynolds Jazz Band is going to be performing at the State Association of Texas Music Educators, and we're very proud. That's in February, so it's coming up. And they don't just select anybody to perform, so we're very proud of Reynolds Middle School. Special education, so we have a Prepare to Prosper program. Sometimes you'll see our students out and about working. You may see them working actually in our school facilities. These are students who have graduated, but they need an extended program. They qualify for that program so that they can learn life skills, work skills, and be able then to translate those work skills into everyday life. And so we're very excited about this program. They do a great job, and Dr. Blair Hickey, who is our Chief of Specialized Programs, does a great job of dreaming the impossible dream for our students in special education of what can happen for each of these students. Our Special Olympics, if you are looking for a volunteer opportunity and something that will make you smile all day long, please come out to our Special Olympics track meet that we will have in May, where our students compete. We compete in various sports. Even though last year with COVID, it kind of put a damper on it. We couldn't go as many things as what we've done in the past, but we still got out there and competed, and it's just absolutely a true joy to see these students in action. So if you get a chance, please come out and volunteer. We'd love to have you be a part of it. Our athletics programs, such a shining star in Prospero ISD, we have 3,774 students that are participating in athletics. And there's nothing more important than getting our kids connected, no matter if it's fine arts, athletics, the special education, Special Olympics, no matter what it is. We want those kids locked in, connected, and a part of something bigger than themselves. And really learning how to work with the team is something that is a life skill we take all the way through the rest of our lives. So our Prospero ISD athletics, we have 28 varsity sports, 50 sub-varsity sports. Our coaches do a phenomenal job, not only of working on the athletic side, but just building better people of character, integrity. And I'm so proud of what Coach Little and her team do each and every day. If you've ever gotten to watch our coaches interact with our student athletes, it's beyond impressive. Our natatorium is something that stays in constant demand. It's adjacent right here to our stadium, and we have a great director over there, but we have several things that I want to talk about with you. Prosper Swim School is something that we offer, and then we have our Prosper Aquatic Club, Prosper Aquatic Masters. That would be our older generation, and we'll call them masters, right? They can clock that for the Mayor's Challenge, right, Mayor? And then we have our UIL swim and dive team. But one of the neatest things that we do is every single third grade student in Prosper ISD goes through a swim safety program. And so we run that all year long. They go for a week at a time. And so you'll see our buses pulling up over there, and that's what they're doing. And so it's funny because our parents will say, why did you not let him wear his goggles and his flippers and his fins and his swim cap? I sent him with all of those things to your swim school, and his eyes are going to burn because of the chlorine. And guess what our answer is? It's swim safety, and if you fall in a lake, you're probably not going to have those things on. And so we want to make sure that you know how to save yourself in the event that you fall in water, and you know what to do. So there is a reason behind it. So I'm extremely proud of our progress and what we've been able to do with our athletics program. Many of you may be aware, and if you're not, I want to make sure that I share. We provide a college recruiter to our student athletes that are wanting to go to the next level. He's a former high school coach and athletic director, and he helps facilitate and act as a liaison to get kids who want to go to that next level the opportunity to go. He'll be presenting in February, I believe it's February 15th in this room, to give all the tips and tricks on how to navigate NCAA, college life as a student athlete, and the things that you need to be doing in order to be able to get those looks from the universities. In the year of 2019-2020, we had 35 Prosper ISD student athletes who went on to go play at the next level and continue their college education. With the addition of him, we now have moved to 50 student athletes going to the next level. And I'm excited to see where we end this year. Just our early signing, we had 27 student athletes who were going on to the next level. And they were going to some big ticket schools, A&M, OU. It wasn't a small school that they were going to, so it was Division I. And I was super proud to be able to see that, because those students, they're a representation of us. And they're going to tell the story of Prosper ISD. And so what a great thing to know that these student athletes have moved on to the next level and will take Prosper along with them. Graduation, so our class of 2021, we were able to have our graduation. It was one of the wettest and coldest graduations I've ever been a part of in my entire life. School board was soaked. That was the Prosper High School graduation, but Rock Hill High School had their very first graduation and that was a super windy night where we were fixing stoles, caps, things were flying off of the stage. We were trying to get pictures. We'll be moving to the Star this year, to an indoor facility. The pictures will be amazing. Yeah, and no one will be wet, nor will things be blowing off of their heads. So it should be good. And you can see the Prosper graduates, they've got some drips of raindrops on them. So one of the things that we do and that I love in Prosper ISD is we honor our K-12 graduates. So if our students have been with us from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, they get a special cord at graduation. Our Prosper High School students are adorned with a green and white cord, and then our Rock Hill High School students have a beautiful blue and black and gray cord that we adorn them with, and that's for our K-12 students. We had around 165 students that were K-12, and they had gone all the way through our Prosper schools. So it's a pretty neat tradition that we have, and I love that we do that. So let's talk about social emotional learning and our overall well-being and health. And certainly that's something that's needed as we have entered into this pandemic that seems to never be going away, but we're all hopeful that it will. One of the things that we did last year, the school board approved to purchase the Mayhard facility that is located on First Street, and we turned that into a family resource center for our families, specifically our families of special education students. If you get a chance to stop by there, it is one of the most beautiful facilities, and just the calming presence that you have. I walked in the other day, we had a group of parents who are trying to work with their students who are students with autism, and our staff were sitting there supporting them. They were having a great collaborative on different tips and tricks of things that they could do at home to get their children to be willing to eat different foods, or how do you get your children to go to sleep at night, and how do you get them transition from the bus into the school. And it was so heartwarming to be able to know that that facility is providing that venue, that chance for those families to truly come together and learn from one another and be a support for one another, because it can sometimes be a lonely life when you're a special education parent. And then, of course, our Prospero ISD Police Department, we're very fortunate that the board has really committed to making sure that that safety is at the highest level on all of our facilities. Chief Vissels is with us tonight, and he has an amazing team of officers, both males and females. And we also have Kaz, our K-9 officer, who does a great job for us too. But they are some of the best men and women that you will ever meet. They love our kids, they love our staff. You'll see them ever present in car lines and on our facilities. But one of the things that's really unique and special about what they do, if a student is in Prosper from kindergarten through 12th grade, our goal is that they've had at least 500 positive interactions with a police officer. And in the world that we're in right now, that is something so special, because we want our kids to see our officers, no matter if they're in our school buildings or outside of our school buildings, as a support, as a help, as someone who is a servant leader. And what a great role model each of our officers are being to our kids at a very young age. So those positive interactions that's a gift and a blessing in Prospero ISD that you have as a parent, because that doesn't happen in every school district. We had a pretty special award that we were able to give to Officer Scott Barrett. He saved a student's life at Windsong Ranch Elementary this year, and so it was very nice to be able to honor him for the fine work that he was doing. And I think about, what if we'd not had that officer on campus at that very moment? What if we didn't have an officer assigned to that campus? Would that child still be with us? And so when you think, well, is that extra or is that needed? It's needed, and this is the very reason it's needed. Prospero Education Workshops, so we offer a lot of community engagement and a lot of training and supports for our families. We certainly want you to be able to engage with us, and those are all in our PISD Express newsletter. Sometimes in the videos that I make each week, I'll talk about these opportunities for you. So certainly be on the lookout for those. We have our Hope Walk coming up on March 20th, and that'll be held right here at the stadium. And we have Hope Squads, which is a suicide prevention program that we have at every single school in Prosper. So 20 schools with an action team of students, and that's a peer-to-peer program, and it's done some pretty amazing things all the way across the board for our students. So please come out. It's a very special day to truly support our kids and see them in action. I want to talk about human resources, because the people that we hire, that's the key. I was saying that last night at the PHS Expo, and one of the families was talking about all of the different opportunities and everything that we offer, and I said, yes, and it's quite amazing, but it's not worth anything without highly skilled educators who have a heart for kids, who are highly knowledgeable about the work that they do. We can have all the things in the world, but the adults that we put in front of our students, that's the key. It's the magic. We're the top 100 places to work in DFW, and that's 8 years running straight. We were the #1 school district, because this is businesses and school districts, and Prospero ISD was the #1 school district listed in the top 100 places to work. And that's tough, because obviously schoolwork's been a little more challenging than it ever has been before. Thank you. And then there's Convocation. This is the greatest celebration on earth. So you might think that the Great State Fair of Texas is the greatest. No, it's Prospero ISD Convocation. We have a great time being able to bring everyone together. Mrs. Gervais, our Executive Director of Human Resources, does a fabulous job of coordinating this. We give crazy prizes away because we have great sponsors like Prospero Education Foundation. And then we just have a lot of fun. You can see we've got Bryan Elementary, and they did a great synchronized swimming routine for all of the staff, and it was hilarious. So super proud of our staff and the way that they have fun. One of the things we've added in this year because of our growing district and me wanting to stay very connected to our staff is we have, with the support of the Prospero Education Foundation, been able to do supper with the super. And so I bring in different leaders from different campuses. I try to keep it at about 30 people, and then I host a nice dinner for them. Just sit and talk. We get to know each other because I'm a strong believer that a family that eats together stays together, right, and loves one another. I come from a family where every Sunday we sit down and have Sunday lunch together, so it's pretty important because we get to catch up and stay connected. So I've kind of taken that concept from my own home into the school district, because many times I spend more time in the school district than I do with my own family. So this is really neat to be able to spend time with these great educators and have a nice meal, but also talk about the great things that they're doing and really applaud their efforts. District Elementary Teacher of the Year. I don't know what happened to my hair that day, but we're going to go ahead and click past that. Super proud of Heather Clay, though, the elementary teacher. Maybe that was the Rock Hill High School graduation day. I don't know. All right. Hair was looking a little better at the secondary day. So Margie Rafer was our secondary teacher of the year, and she's a teacher at Rock Hill High School. And then I'm very proud, actually, Mrs. Gerace is with us tonight. She won a national, not state, but a national award. It's the Herb Salinger Personnel Administrator of the Year for her fine work that she's done in human resources. So Mrs. Gerace, if you want to just stand up and wave, she hates it when I do this. She has such a heart and passion for our school district, and we're so lucky to have her, and it was a no-brainer that she would win this award. Prospero Education Foundation, I can't thank them enough. The way that they support us, the way that they always come to the table with how can we help, how can we support, how can we make things better. Today we were out on all 20 campuses awarding a teacher with the Star Polisher Award, which is basically Teacher of the Month. It's so very important that we honor the great work of our educators and that they're hearing about how appreciated they are. And the Prospero Education Foundation is committed to that level of excellence. They want our teachers to stay and prosper, and I want our teachers to stay and prosper too. So it's a great way to be able to honor them. Prospero Education Foundation, they also go out and do a great prize patrol, and this is super fun too. They go and they have a blast. Lots of clappers, lots of bells, lots of whistles, pom-poms, all the fun things, and they go out and surprise these teachers in the classroom with a grant that they've put in with a check, and it's a big, large check, which makes it even more fun. And so these teachers are able to do creative, innovative things in their classroom through the support of the Prospero Education Foundation. Elizabeth Johnston is with us tonight. She's the executive director, and so I want to say thank you to her. I also want to say thank you to Jordan Dial, who is the Prospero Education Foundation president. So thank you both for everything you're doing, as well as that entire board. So community engagement, we started something this year, and this was a vision by the school board when we did our school board retreat. They wanted a way to re-engage with our community because we had spent a whole entire year with COVID not being able to do that, which was so different than anything Prospero had ever done, because we are always like, come in our buildings, come see what we're doing. So we developed something called the Prospero Promise, and that Prospero Promise was a way to engage with our community, not only our own parents, but those in the community. We wanted our people to come back into our schools to see the great things that our students were doing. So we created informational community events through technology, learning, how to be a teacher, special education, Silver Stars Tour, which was our 65 and older group to be able to tour and see what's happening, because school has changed a lot for that generation of what does it look like. And we took them to Reeves to see the pre-K kids, right? Because that's what you do. You take them to see the cute kids, right? But we also took them to the high school so they could see our older kids learning as well. We also provide a Realtor Connect where we help our real estate or our realtors understand exactly what's going on within the school district so they've got the right facts and information when they're out there selling these great homes in this great community. And then we have advisory committees. So we have several of these happening. Superintendent Parent Advisory, that's actually my committee, and that's a group of about 60 individuals who signed up for that to learn more about the district and really be a voice and inform me. I'm able to take that information and then take that back to our key leaders in the district, but also our Prospero ISD school board, and it really does help guide decisions on what we're doing in the school district. We have Prospero University, and Dr. Greg Bradley, our deputy superintendent, does that, and that's to help get people ready who may be thinking about running for the school board so that they can learn all things about the school board and what that means before they put their name in the hat to run. And so it's been just really great opportunities that we've provided. You can see the list of all of the different things to engage. We have 409 individuals who've engaged with us through this program, so we're very proud of that. And then our community events that we've had, which are, just time-honored traditions with our homecoming parade, which is so fabulous. I think we threw out 7 million pieces of candy, and that was fun. Meet the Eagles and Meet the Blue Hawks. We do a great job of honoring each of our high schools at an event in August to really kick off the fall season for all of our fall sports and really be able to highlight and really love on our seniors too, because we know this is their last chance. So we also do that during the event. This is the Superintendent Student Advisory, and as I said, I've got a few individuals with me this evening that serve on that. And the students also, just like the parents, are really giving me good feedback about things that we need to do differently in the school district, things that we need to be looking at, things that they want to see in the future. And then we had our college technical and military fair this past fall, and that was 129 universities and different facilities between the technical trade schools as well as military. So our students have just all of the opportunities in front of them of what their next could be. Our senior citizen luncheon, we host that in December, and we were so excited to be able to do that this year. For our senior citizens to see where a student is now and the way that they interact with adults, it's a gift. And so I'm very glad that we have this time-honored tradition in Prospero ISD. Our Hall of Honor, Coach Little, who's with us tonight, Valerie Little, does an amazing job of really looking at that legacy of the athletes who made us who we are today. And so this year we were able to honor the 1923 girls basketball team as the Hall of Honor, Dan Christie, and then we have Laura Henry, and then Miss Ninemeyer. I knew I was going to mess her last name up, but they are all former athletes in Prospero ISD, so we do this every year. Now, the 1923 basketball team, they didn't show up. I'm just going to leave that one there. All right, these are the different ways that you can connect with us in Prospero ISD. We encourage you to connect with us, and I want to thank you for this great opportunity to be able to stand before you, not only virtually, but in person tonight, to share all of the amazing things going on in Prospero ISD. You're in a great place with great things happening for kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ferguson. We're going to have some questions for Dr. Ferguson and Mayor Smith, and we're going to try to answer as many questions as possible in the time we have left. The ones we don't get to, we'll post a list of questions and answers on our website, along with an email address if there are additional questions after the event. So I'm going to ask Mayor Smith and Dr. Ferguson to come back up. I want everybody to give them a big hand to start with. That's great information. So I'm going to ask questions back and forth. So Mayor Smith, in light of all the uptick in COVID cases, shouldn't masks be made necessary?
Well, we follow the CDC guidelines and the governor's order that we can't mandate it. So, as long as he's the boss, we have to follow his guideline. I think it makes sense if you're in certain places and you don't have social distancing to wear one, but let me step over here from you. But yeah, I mean, we follow the governor's guideline.
Thanks, Ray. Dr. Ferguson, the question was, I'm a highly concerned about school absences and the risk of truancy as a result of COVID. Is the district going to make allowances for these absences?
I'm just really glad, Mr. Duggar, that you didn't ask me about masks. I'm glad that Mayor Smith got that one. This is best night ever. So I can talk to absences. So for our families out there, one of the adjustments that we made at the beginning of this year, actually in the fall, was instead of 5 parent notes or 5 excused absences, we moved that to 10 excused absences. Now, one of the laws that we're under in the state of Texas through Texas Education Agency is the time does have to be made up, but we'll work with the individual family if we have instructional time that needs to be made up. But we did increase those absences because we knew that that was going to be a huge stress, and we didn't want families feeling like they had to send their sick kid back because of being absent and feeling like they were missing things. So we did adjust that. And no mask.
Thank you. Well, there went my next question for you. So the railway track near the Prosper Trail is getting closed for long periods of time. Can we get details of when it will be closed ahead so that we can plan alternate routes? This creates lots of traffic and causes people to miss appointments, be late for school. Any information on this would be appreciated. Mayor?
Yeah, I get a lot of calls on this one. I recommend a different route. We did put up cameras several years ago. You can check if you go to our website and download the app, and you can check and see on each intersection where the railroads are and see if they're there blocking them or not. So it's a handy way of finding out before you leave your home or school. But we don't have jurisdiction over the railroads. I mean, that's the bottom line.
The railroads do what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Ferguson, will there be any virtual classes since COVID cases are increasing?
So we actually have virtual in place. We held for quite some time because the state was not going to fund virtual learning. But in October, the state let us know that they would actually fund virtual learning. So we offered that as an opportunity back in October of 2021. And it's still in place today. We didn't shut that down. We have about 200 students who have taken that opportunity. But as far as the movement back and forth in and out of the school, we're not doing that because that was extremely challenging trying to keep up with grades and kids and all of that. So we wanted to keep people where they were. So if students are virtual, they're staying virtual. If they're in person, they're in person. And so that consistency piece. We learned last year how rough that ride is when you go back and forth.
Thank you. Mayor Smith, what plans are in the works to bring First Street up to a modern, safe roadway prior to the opening of High School number 3? I think Holly sent this one in.
I did.
The 2 hairpin turns, the narrowness of the roadway, the amount of traffic it will receive, especially new teen drivers, I think she really did send it in, makes it even worse than the Frontier Parkway is for Prosper High School.
We've been actually working on that roadway, anticipating the high school. That's communication between the boards and the upper management of the school and the town. We got some slivers to get of the right-of-way. We've been working with the district on their plans. What we have on the books is spring of 2024 to have that road completed. And then the fall, I believe, is the high school opens of 24. Now, if it doesn't happen, there's a couple of council members here that you might want to talk to. But actually, that's what we have, and hopefully it'll go well, and it'll all be a smooth transition, because we do realize, as Dr. Ferguson said, there's a lot of high school kids that drive, so we need to keep them safe on that road.
Thank you, Ray. Great question, Dr. Ferguson. Now with this, the next question for you, Dr. Ferguson, one of these things you always love to hear about. With the new high school being built so close to Rock Hill High School, how will this rezoning work?
Dun, dun, dun. Here we go again. So in 2023, actually, we'll have to have the zoning set because the University Interscholastic League, which is our governing body for athletics, fine arts, and academics, we have to have numbers turned in. So they know the size of the high school, so then they know what A or division to put us in, whether we're 5A, 6A, whatever that may fall out with the numbers. What we will do is we will work with our demographer to look at where will that zoning happen, but we will have students who come out of both Prospero High School as well as Rock Hill High School because both high schools will need relief at that time. And we also have a board subcommittee who will also act as a guiding force on what does that zoning need to look like because they know the community and they know the questions that they're getting, and so we want to weigh in with everyone. And I did not submit that question. I want to go ahead and get that out there. But if you can get the road done, that'd be great.
You've got marching orders, Mayor. We have so many doctors and dentists. Will Prosper invite entertainment companies to set up in our town? How about a water park, a main event type place with go-karts?
You get all the easy ones. That's funny. The deals we're seeing from some of these entrepreneurs, they want you, they've got a great idea. Last year we had a roller rink that wanted to set up shop. So they're all out there and they've come to us and said, hey, do you have some land we can use? And by the way, do you have any resources of money? So basically, they're wanting us to give them the land, give them the money, and they'll manage it and take a fee. That's a great deal, right? I've seen water parks, skating rinks, dirt bike trails, what else? Oh, a lot of indoor facilities that they want you to build them, a big indoor facility, and they want to play baseball and football and lacrosse and some of the other things. We're waiting on that person that has some equity that says, hey, we want to partner with you, or this is what we want to do. We just want the right zoning. That's the deal we're looking for, and we hadn't seen it yet.
You may have answered this earlier, Dr. Ferguson, but when will the middle school in Windsong Ranch be constructed and opened?
Okay. So actually we have Daniel L. Jones Middle School that comes first, and then we'll go to the Windsong site. So that'll be about 2026 is when we'll get that one ready to go. Okay.
Mayor Smith, question says, when will we get more dedicated pickleball courts in Prosper? You wanted an easy one, so here you go.
I wrote that one down just to make sure. And actually, there's a pickleball court planned in Lakewood Park. The construction will be later this year. In Hackberry Park and Windsong Ranch, there's a basketball court that's striped for pickleball. I don't hear any clapping. And we've got, we're going to send out a request for input from the community for amenities like pickleball. That's really gotten popular. I'm sure when we design the First Street and Coit Park there'll be some pickleball courts, and I don't know if they'll be standalone or with basketball, but it's on the way.
Thank you, Mayor. Dr. Ferguson, this is kind of a two-part question. How can the district attract more substitutes with the absences being such on the increase? And Prosper ISD does so much for our community. How can the community best support PISD, our teachers and staff?
Love that question. It's way better than the pickleball question. love our teachers, love our staff. You see them, you tell them words of encouragement, appreciation. Those are the things that educators, a handwritten note. When I think about the just stacks of notes I've saved over the years, the words meant more than any money I've ever received, and that's the same for every single educator within our district. I will say that Mr. Race, who is our Executive Director of Human Resources, and Dr. Kyle Ball, who is our Chief Financial Officer, they're actually working on some innovative ways in which we can entice and incentivize substitutes, more substitutes. I do want to point out, though, this is not just a Prospero ISD thing. This is across the nation. Bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, substitute teachers. There is a shortage. I was doing some research, and we've had a 4% drop in our profession of teachers who just left when the pandemic hit, and they've not returned. Healthcare workers, 8%. And so you may go, well, why is she talking about healthcare workers? It's because I have nursing staff within Prospero ISD, and it's extremely demanding, especially right now, but an 8% drop out of that profession to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. So the words of encouragement go a long, long way. I do want to say hats off to our Prospero ISD school board. They were willing to be able to give our staff a social, emotional, just wellness day in October, and that was worth absolute gold to them, to be able to get an extra day of rest, to spend time with their families, to go do something that they wanted to do to fill their cup. It was awesome. And then the school board does a great job too with retention bonuses for our staff, and we've been blessed to be able to do that for many years. But again, I'm telling you, those words of encouragement, it means the world. And if you see somebody tearing down the school, please clap back, because that's tearing down our kids, it's tearing down our staff, and people start wondering, why am I doing this job? I don't make enough money to put up with this disruption and this heartache and this heavy load that I'm being asked to carry. They have a heart of gold, and they work hours. If you spend a day being a teacher, or maybe you're married to a teacher, or your child is a teacher, the hours don't end. They sleep at night thinking about those kids, and they wake up in the morning thinking about kids. So love on them. They deserve it.
Thank you, Dr. Ferguson. We love you, so we appreciate you, and we appreciate.
Give it to them, not me.
Next question for Ray is, I'm aware the EDC has a downtown master plan, so can you please update on timing and details of the plan to develop the downtown with retail and restaurants to create a community gathering space?
Yeah, I mentioned that in my spiel. We've been working with a consultant. We've had a committee put together 8 or 9 months ago. The consultant gave us updates last Friday. They still have a lot of work to do. We're trying to get financing options to get creative down there. You know, nobody wants to be the first one in. Some of the previous council members here remember that, hey, if we're going to revitalize downtown, we need to make an investment. You were on council. And so we did. And we were hoping that would help, although COVID came in shortly later and sort of shut things down. But there are several, 2 or 3 restaurants that are, you know, they're just hanging on and waiting for a break. I think that industry is battling, but the other retail, small shops, I think they're on the way. But for a large, big entertainment venue, it's going to take somebody to step up that has the land and the funds to do that. And we've been hearing rumors about it, but we're waiting to see a project. And also the consultant hopefully will give us some more guidelines for, you know, how far should we go from the core downtown, what's considered downtown, going east, west, north, and south. And then there's some of the holdouts that are just waiting to cash in on their property. So, you know, you can't force them to do anything.
Thank you, Ray. Dr. Ferguson, the question is, why does Prospero ISD not offer the free lunches to all the students this year as many other districts do?
So that's a great question, and I know it's one that's very confusing because when you look at the school districts around us and they're able to provide free breakfast, free lunch to every single student, and you're thinking, well, if Frisco can do it, why can't Prosper do it? So let me kind of explain the reasons and why that is the way that it is in Prosper. The federal lunch program, many years ago, Prosper made the decision to get off of the federal lunch program at the middle school and the high school. If you've been at our high schools, you see Chick-fil-A, you see Burger King, you see all these chains, and that's a piece of why we're able to do that. We stepped away from that federal lunch program. We didn't step away, though, at the elementary level. So then you might go, well, why don't all the elementary kids get a free lunch, free breakfast? The qualifier is, in a school district, you have to have at least one campus that is 50% educationally disadvantaged. So that's your free and reduced lunch students, 50%. The highest percentage that we have on one of our 14 elementaries is 15%. So Prosper ISD doesn't qualify for those funds to be able to be given from the federal government to our school districts. So that's why, and it is tough, but Frisco, if they've got one out of all their 60 schools, they qualify. We don't, and that it is an advantage to us. It feels like a disadvantage, but the piece that we have parents with means and things to be able to do with their kids, education, all of those things are huge benefits. This is just one of those times it kind of stinks to be affluent, right?
Thank you. Mayor Smith, what is the status of the new park at Coit and First Street?
Under design. Actually, it's, before Dudley passed, we were talking a lot about, do we want an indoor facility? It'll definitely be in phases, money-wise, but we'll have some outdoor fields, and we talked about doing some indoor courts, and then, of course, as popular as the pickleball has gotten, we've talked about those courts as well. But right now, it's planned to be under design. I don't think anybody's working on it yet, but it should be in this budget year.
Thank you. The question for you, Dr. Ferguson, with the increasing growth in the area, what plans do you have to provide special education programs at all campuses so kids don't have to move schools each year or travel to another campus other than their home campus?
So we've done a lot of work in that area, and again, that was parents informing us of what those greatest challenges were. Dr. Hickey and I hosted several parent groups, and they were telling us that was the greatest challenge, moving from campus to campus and basically starting over with their children. We're trying to do our absolute best to make sure that we can try to keep those kids on that same campus so they can get connected with it, but our fast growth sometimes demands different of us. The number of students also will drive how many students we have will then equal the program, what we will then put on the ground. What we're trying to do right now is you'll see that we'll have an east side site for, say, a functional academics, but we'll also have a west side site. We might have a north side site for life skills, and we might have a south side site for life skills. So we're trying to get that geographical footprint too for distance for our families a little bit closer to their home. So you need to understand that a special education family may live in Mustang Lakes, for example, but they're not going to Johnson Elementary because their program is not there. And again, that's driven by the number of students who show up needing those services. So it may mean that they need to go to Folsom Elementary for their program that they need. But again, we're trying to get to a place where we have multiple sites to kind of close that geographic footprint distance-wise.
Thank you. Mayor Smith, Prosper's an affluent town. Why don't we have high-end restaurants in Prosper?
How often do you go to those? I mean, that's the question. I don't know if we could sustain the high end. The lunch crowd is tough. I mean, there's not many people. Everybody gets in the cars and goes south. So until we get some established businesses, the school district's our largest, employers. So, and they aren't eating out. That I'm aware of. So, you know, it's just one of those deals where they have to have that demand in order to open up the high-end restaurants, and that's probably going to come eventually when you get some daytime traffic, which, you know, there'll have to be a few more hotels and office buildings here.
I don't think you blame the school district. We want you at the schools teaching. So right now, Prosper does not have the businesses. Yeah, we know.
Well, I'll put in a plug for a high-end restaurant that we actually have. It's at Rock Hill High School. It's called Hilltop Cafe. It's through our career and technical education. If you want a fine dining experience, have our students serve you. I had some of the best steak I think I've ever eaten in my life, and the best chocolate cake. And it was truly linen napkins, right? Place setting. It was very nice, and it's a good price. So, and it's a great experience for our kids to be able to serve. When is it open? We'll get that to you. No, it's open now. You can go for lunch. So they start 11, they've got a 12 o'clock, and then they go into the 1 o'clock hour.
Do you need to make reservations?
You do need to make reservations because we're not real high demand right now. We can't have like a wait list. We're not there. But if you can sign up and come in and eat, we would love to have you there. It's a great opportunity, and the food is really good. And our kids, they will also then go, come in the kitchen. We want to show you where we've made everything. So see, I saved you, Mayor. High-end restaurant. Well, I guess it's in Frisco, though. Never mind.
I'm not even going to ask any more questions. So I want to kind of wrap up here real quick. I'd like to thank Mayor Smith and Dr. Ferguson for sharing their time with us tonight. Both of you, thank you for your service to the community. I'm going to get off the notes for just a second. Is there anything you want to add before?
I just want to say thank you to the Prosper community. I've been in this district a long time, but the last 2 years, whoo, it's been a ride. But I want to thank you. I know that there are differing opinions out there, and we certainly respect that. But the vast majority, the support, the love that you've given us, I cannot thank you enough for that. So thank you very much to the Prosper community.
Mayor Smith.
After being corrected on the restaurants, I just want to say that probably nobody knows about this except some of the people in the room, but I had a coach that coached my grandkids that teaches in the ISD, and he had a classroom. I don't know, I'm trying to use the right words. The kids that need a break, they may not fit into the normal classroom. They had about 8 of them, I believe. Wasn't that right, Robin? So they came to me and said, hey, with your influence, can you figure out where we can get these kids someplace to go and work like 1 hour a day, maybe twice a week, they'll have adult supervision. And I said, yeah, I could probably do something like that. So I called some restaurants and called Robin in the town. And we met, and Robin and Leslie and John Webb was here at the time. I don't remember a few others. And so they had those kids come to our departments at Town Hall, and they would, shred papers. They do it. They always had something to do in each one of those departments. And the bottom line is that the ISD and the town worked together. I think that was a great experience for these kids. I followed one because I knew the mother, and he's out working as a mason now. They're building, outdoor backyard fire pits and stuff. So hopefully some of that helped give them the self-esteem to be able to do that. And I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Ray. All right, I want to go special thanks to the following for making this virtual event possible. Crystal Hankey, Director of Communications for Prosper ISD. Julie Brantley, Director of Custodial and Events for Prosper ISD. The one who really set this up, she and I worked on this in 2020. Robin Battle, Executive Director of Community Services for the town of Prosper. Thank you, Robin, for making this happen. Todd Rice, Communications Manager for the town of Prosper. Carolyn Coons, Communication Specialist for the town of Prosper. And there are many other people who helped contribute to tonight's event. I want to thank all of y'all. I also want to take a moment to again recognize our sponsors, Texas Health, Neighborhood Care and Wellness, Community Waste Disposal, Linebarger Attorneys at Law. I want to thank all of y'all for donating and making this possible. I also want to make sure there's a table back there. Please support the Prosper Education Foundation and their programs that help the PISD students. Also, a recording of tonight's presentation will be available via the town and PISD website and Facebook pages. I want to thank you for those watching the virtual State of the Community event. Everyone, please stay safe and healthy and have a great night. Thank y'all very much. Dr. Ferguson, Mayor Smith.